Hi, welcome to The Daily. My name is Brendan Malone. It's been 2 weeks now since the passing of David Bowie, and I've been thinking a lot about why it was that he had such a major impact in society. I've seen people in my Facebook feed who I really wouldn't have expected to have heard this or seen this from, who have shared their memories of how David Bowie impacted them. And it's amazing, all ages, all just a diverse range of people who were impacted by this guy. Why was that? I think in many ways Bowie is very similar to Johnny Cash. There are some interesting similarities. Both the men were married twice, both had their struggle with drug addiction. But I think the really big similarity for me between the two is the fact that that both Bowie and Johnny Cash, they're basically the storytellers. They both had an alter ego. Johnny Cash had the Man in Black. David Bowie actually had a couple of alter egos. His most famous one is Major Tom. And they are both men who use music as a vehicle to paint artistic pictures and to delve ever more deeply into the human experience. And I think that makes them unique. There are artists who are great craftsmen. You know, these are musicians who just, I think of someone like Mark Knopfler, who has this profound skill and just is able to craft this wonderful music. Then on the other side, you have artists who are just ego-driven, sort of manufactured pop icons, if you like. They're products that sing. And a lot of it's about ego. A lot of what they do is about the image, and it's all very manufactured and cliched and fake, even when they try and do something deep. But Bowie and Johnny Cash, they're not like that. They're very raw. There's a rawness to them. There's an honesty to them about the way they explore life. And they use music as a vehicle that they get into to really delve even more deeply into the mystery of the human experience. And that's why I think they are both great artists. Now, I don't mean craftsmen. I mean in the sense that they use an artistic medium to try and explore and convey really important and very profound ideas. I mean, very few artists can lay claim to the fact that that Nirvana chose to cover one of their songs, but David Bowie can make that claim. The Man Who Sold the World was the song, obviously, that Nirvana covered. But Nirvana is the sort of the founding fathers of the modern grunge movement. They're very anti-establishment. They are opposed to ego-driven pop. They're the antithesis of the sort of modern pop culture. And yet they saw something of merit in David Bowie that caused them to cover one of his songs. And I think that tells you a lot about how they view Bowie and where he fits into, I guess, modern musical history, just in general terms. He's not an ego-driven sort of musician who's part of the sort of pop establishment. Instead, he's doing something new and different, forging his own way. And I think that's what makes him so important. And I think that's why he resonates with people, because particularly as his career wore on, he really becomes more introspective. And his last album that is released, we've actually got several more albums apparently that are going to be released posthumously, but the last album that was released just a couple of days before he died is there's some really amazing tracks where he's looking back on his own fame, his own life. He's asking some really big questions about worth, about what matters in life, about the whole cult of celebrity and stuff like that. So it's really profound stuff. Interestingly enough, Johnny Cash, in his last couple of albums, he's doing something similar. He becomes very introspective. He does a cover of the Nine Inch Nails song Hurt, which is all about a drug addict who is dealing with the regret and the shame and the struggle of their addiction. And Johnny Cash covers the song because very much that tells his story of earlier in his life and the struggles that he had. He also released an album of songs from his mother's favourite hymn books, and he did a whole lot of covers of those hymns that she were a big part of her life and were obviously very formative in his early musical career. So both men, Bowie and Cash, as I said, in the final stages of their musical career, become very introspective and looking back and contemplating more deeply. As they move through life, they become more reflective, and they begin to meditate more deeply on who they are and the human experience and the journey that they've walked. So I guess my thought for the day, my challenge for the day that I want to leave you with is be like Bowie, be like Cash. I don't mean become a drug addict. I don't mean be a musician. What I mean is this. I mean, don't live in shallow superficiality. Strive to live a life of depth, of meaning, of purpose. And the way to do that is to not muck around in the shallow end of the pool, but to really take that risk of diving into the deep end. And I think the way that we do that each and every day is simply by asking the big why questions about our human experience, and not trying to escape or run away from the struggles and the difficulties and the things that we experience in life, not trying to numb ourselves with other distractions, but actually just to sit in those moments and to experience them and to allow them to wash over and I guess to teach us something about who we are and about what the human experience really is. So, if you want to live a life of meaning and purpose, and you want to live a life that's meaningful, you've really got to stop mucking about in the shallow end. It's not rocket science. Living that life of meaning and something that is really going to count for something is about avoiding the superficiality and not getting stuck in the superficiality. Okay, there's lots of stuff in life that we experience that is superficial and we can't avoid that. But if we get stuck at that level, then we are going to live a life that is it's simply not going to be as meaningful, a life that is not really going to have the same impact as one where we are not afraid to explore those deeper questions and to really live in those moments of depth and to give of ourselves to life, not to run from it. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow on The Daily.